Hey guys, it's Sammy coming at you from Under the Stairs Brewing Company. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. Hope things are well with everybody out in the YouTube world. A couple people have asked me to do a quick video on bottling, so I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to sort of do it. I don't have anything to bottle right now. I'm going to pretend with a little bit of water, a little bit of sanitizing solution. We're going to go from there. A couple quick updates. Got the dirty blonde, or the naughty blonde sauce pod kegged. It's quite tasty actually, and this is it here in my. Actually, I'm going to call it a dirty naughty blonde because you turned it quite dark, and that is, I think, a result of the beer kit was from expiration date was out of 2009, so it got really, really dark in the can. A shout out to the good folks at the Lake of Bays Brewing Company in Baysville, just up the street from me, or up the street, down the ways a little bit. So cheers, everybody. I need this after today. That makes the day a little bit better. So that being said, I still got my Messy Trousers, which is my Irish Stout. I'm going to be kegging once I get a free keg. So I almost need to get a spare one. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And that's about it. Also, probably bottle my ginger beer this weekend. This could be nice. Did a 1 gallon test batch on that. We're sitting at 3.7 ABV. Going to test it again tonight and see how it's sitting. So a quick shout out to everybody who's subscribed and has liked the videos. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. I love the feedback that I'm getting from you guys. It's really, really helpful, and it's really, really nice to get. Small community out there, so small community in a big world, I should say. It's always nice to hear what everybody's up to and see what everybody's up to, and any ideas and suggestions that anybody might have. I'm all for it. So this will be a quick run through of bottling. This is what works for me. It may not work for everybody, so by all means throw some comments out there. Let me know what you think, what you do. I don't use a bottle capper. I use the flip tops as well as the plastic PET bottles. I use a 750 ml flip top bottle, but I'll get into that in a little bit of detail in a little bit. Okay, so let's go on to some bottling. This is for you, Nick. Good luck, mate, on your first Australian Stout this weekend. This is all for you, brother. Chat with you soon, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about this. I'm just sort of be looking down at you on the brew bench as I go through the quick. First thing I want to cover is sanitation and just how important it is. So here I have a unsanitized 750 ml flip top bottle. This is what I use to bottle. Even when I'm kegging, I'll usually put about 6 of these aside so I can age my beers and see how they are. I was able to pick these up from a Muskoka brewery. When they would come up with their seasonal stuff, they would come up with these great bottles. They don't have these anymore. They now use a cork and a wire basket system, so these have become a little bit of a premium for me. I love them the size, a little bit less than a liter, obviously a little bit more than 500, sort of right in between, which is what I like. I also go with the plastic bottles. Find one here. I use a 500 ml or half liter PET bottle with the screw cap. Nice thing about these is you can check your carbonation levels and your secondary fermentation when it's in the bottle just by giving it a quick squeeze. So obviously you want to make sure these are nice, clean, and sanitized before you put anything in there. Right? Fair enough. And that's really what I do for bottles. So basically, how I prime or bulk prime my bottles, I usually go depending on the style of beer. Now this may not work for everybody, but for me, I don't like a beer that's disgustingly heavily carbonated. So I usually go with about 125 grams of sugar, and I dissolve that in a cup to a cup and a half of water on the stove. I'll bring the cup of water, or cup to cup and a half of water to a boil. I'll add my 125 grams of dextrose, a good old corn sugar. Let it boil, everything's dissolved, and then I let it cool down. Put the lid on it, cool it down. You can cool it down a couple ways. You either put it on the back burner of the stove with no heat, or put it in the fridge for a quick little bit. And bring it up to roughly room temperature. And then what I do is I then add it to my, sorry about this, guys, this isn't the best way to do it. You know what? And I then add it to my bottling bucket. I'm going to walk you through that now. Okay, everybody, now you'll see these bottles here ready to go. And in our bucket we have our beer. with our priming sugar that we dissolved on the stove, brought up to room temperature, added to the beer. It's all mixed in. It's this minimal splashing. Okay, and you'll see our sanitized flip top bottle there. One thing different that I've added a bottling wand to the end of my sanitized bottling wand to the end of my siphon hose. Now you look at the little spigot that's on the end of this thing. This thing's really cool. It operates by pressure, so you'll see it flips down. Once you pull it up, that goes in and it stops the flow of the beverage to prevent any spillage. So now what we're going to do, we're going to fill from our bucket. Now keep in mind, guys, this is all sanitized and purely just for show, so let's imagine this is all sanitized. We don't want to really touch any of this with our fingers. Okay, and then it's going to go into our bottle, and then we are going to fill it up with beer. Now, one thing I can suggest, if you guys have never done this before, it'll be good to take a couple of runs at it and see how it goes. You can just tell by the flow that things are working through there and things are going as planned. So, just want to keep an eye on the level. There we go. These 750ml bottles are going to be a little bit finicky because there's a hump in the bottom that if you don't hit it just right, it will stop the flow. So just filling it up and filling it up. And the nice thing with this is that you just want to keep watching. I like to leave about an inch to an inch and a bit. We went up to about there. And a little bit more. And there we go. There. Perfect. Spillage there. Flip that up. The cap down. And we're ready for our second. Now you notice how there's still the liquid is there, minimal drippage, which is really nice. I'm just going to put this back in the bucket and we'll wrap up in a second. So there you have it. That, in a nutshell, is how you bottle a batch of beer. I mean, really quick, really straightforward, really simple, really easy. It doesn't need to be any more difficult than that, you guys. Simple rules: sanitize, 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 sanitize. If you don't think it's sanitized, sanitize it again. Keep in mind, this is the last resting place for your little creation that you've nurtured over the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, what have you. You want to have a nice, really happy final resting place before you pop the cap and guzzle it, for lack of a better term. So can't stress that enough. Other thing. Just watch it, practice with some water. I mean, 125 grams of dextrose to a cup and a half of water has worked out perfectly for me for carbonation for my batches. Some guys may like a little bit more, some guys may like a little bit less, but that's what I like. Play around with it. Obviously, don't go too crazy with it because you don't want to have a couple of bottle grenades happening in the basement or wherever you may store your beverages. The other thing is fill up the siphon hose with water prior to putting it into the fermenter or your carboy, wherever you're pulling your beer from, in your bottling bucket, I should say. And then just have something, like a Tupperware container or a glass on standby that you can drain that into. And once you see the beer pour through, hit your siphon lock, and then go from there. And the rest is pretty straightforward. You're going to get a little bit messy, but first and foremost, have fun doing it. It's really fun. It's rocket science, and it doesn't have to be difficult. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be enjoyable. That's really what homebrewing is all about. Having fun with it and saving a few bucks from here and there, but more importantly, making something that you want to drink and then want to share with people that you love and you like. It's a lot of fun. The final thing is when you are conditioning your beer, minimum 1 week. Cool, dark place, particularly you guys with the plastic bottles. I prefer glass for aging a little bit more less permeable than the plastic over time with the oxygen. The glass seems to work out really, really well. Try to stay away or avoid clear unless the place you're storing is completely dark. You're just going to have a skunky beer or a nasty tasting beer down the road. So I prefer glass. Plastic is acceptable. It really depends on personal preference and what you can get at the time. A lot of guys out there I'm recommending using Gelder and Just Me 14. Gelder's 1276 and Just Me 1438. Like to use the clear plastic PET bottles. You know what? Perfect. All the more power to you, lads. That's what works for you. That's the way to go. That being said, that's really about all I got. 1 week minimum. Try it after a week. If it needs a little bit more bubbles, give it another week. I know that's the worst part, but the next thing is that once you get a batch in, start your next batch right away, so you got something coming down the pipe. That's really all I can suggest. So, from Under the Stairs Brewing Company, this is Sam saying cheers, sláinte, prost, and all the good stuff, everybody. And if I don't chat with you, have a very safe and happy Easter with your family, and have a few pints, and I'll raise one in your honor. Cheers, everyone. Take care.
I've been loving you a long time, down all the years, down all the days, and I've cried for all your trouble